What's up, guys? This is Area. Today we're going to do a swap of the downpipe and front pipe from your factory, and we're going to a PRL version 1 front pipe and downpipe. We're going to be doing it today on my car, my SI, and we're going to get it started here. I got to jack it up. First thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this pipe, my PRL intake, just from here, from the MAF sensor over to the tube, so I have room to get to the heat shields, etc. So I'm going to do that first. Okay, guys, we removed the pipe, and I went ahead and removed it from here and here. This is because I have a PRL intake, and I moved it off to the side, right there, out of the way. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. I am going to have to get to this heat shield right here and remove it so I can get to the downpipe. Okay, and I'm going to let these bolts soak as well with PB Blast. If you know what PB Blast is, it's right here. Good to lube up the bolts. Let them soak so they break loose faster. But first, let's go ahead and look. We're going to have heat shield bolt, heat shield bolt, heat shield bolt. 12 millimeter. If you have a ratchet like this that has the ratcheting head, a wrench like this with a ratcheting head, makes this one easy to get out. And then these as well. Makes them easy to get out. So we're going to do that and get that shield off. Okay, guys. Once you've removed the 3 bolts that I told you, your heat shield will move out of the way. Right out of the way. So, we're not going to drop it down yet because we still have the O2 on, which I'm going to take off from the bottom. So, move the heat shield out of the way a little bit. Just kind of give it a little shake. It'll go down. Oh, I'm going to get caught on a clamp. Okay, that's good enough. It should drop lower. Oh, there it goes. Now it's out of the way. There we go. Okay, so now that you got it out of the way, you will see your bolts for the turbo. You got one here, one there, and the other side has them as well. So you will have one on the top, right under the black, right there. Boom, right there. And you're going to have one down right over there. See that? So those are your 4 bolts for your turbo. Those are the ones you need to lube up and let them soak. So we're going to go ahead and lube them up and let them soak. We're using PB Blast, okay? And while they're soaking, I'm going to go ahead and jack up the car, take off the under tray, etc. So these have time to soak. And that's where we'll be removing our O2 sensor. And we will be dropping down the, we'll take off the front pipe. And we can also take off this heat shield and we'll go from there. We're going to wait for the actual downpipe removal a little bit after because we want that to soak. So let's do it. Let me show y'all before I go away. See how I sprayed them with PB Blast? You can get both sides. The bolt on this side where it's threaded and down there as well. You can reach them. Also on this side, you can get the bolts from the upper and lower. See? And towards that side where it's threaded. Now remember, once you take off this downpipe, wipe up all this PB Blast that you put on there. So we don't want to have an issue there. So now I'm going to let that soak and I'm going to jack up the car. So just like last time, we're going to take off this skid plate under tray. Okay. You're going to have Phillips, 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 and there's another Phillips on that side over there, right there. And you're going to have a bunch of Honda flathead quarter turn fasteners right there. Boom. Turn them a quarter of a turn, they come out. And the skid plate slides towards the rear of the car and comes out. So let's go ahead and take the skid plate off and let's see what we do. Okay, guys. Now we're under the car. Removing the skid plate, in case people want to know, it is going to be 6 quarter turn fasteners and 4 Phillips heads. They're different sizes. Some have 2 bigger Phillips heads and those are 2 small Phillips. But those are the fasteners, and we slid the skid plate back and exposed the front pipe as well as the bottom of the downpipe. So we're going to need to remove this front pipe. Also remove this bracket off of the transmission right here. And then I have leaves falling. Also, we're going to need to lube up that hanger right there. I'll go ahead and let that soak, so we can pry that off. That's going to be another thing we have to worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and soak that while I work on the bolts. Okay, guys. We have the 3 bolts out. Boom. And we lubed up our hanger right there. So she's soaking. Let her soak in a little bit so it'll slide off easier. And so now we took off these 3 bolts. I'm going to go ahead and take off that bolt right there. There. I'm going to take off that bolt right there, and then I'm going to take them off of the transmission and the motor, because I want to be able to move them around and have a little more flexibility when I put the new downpipe on. Also, I want to have plenty of clearance when I'm dropping the downpipe down. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, guys, so we got those bolts out. I went ahead and took those out, placed them on the floor, the ones that go there and right there. Well, it's blocking right now, right there. So the brackets, I go ahead and loosen the bolts from the transmission and kind of let them hang a little bit. See, they got plenty of way to move out of the way, boom, out of the way. Now we're going to that back there. Everybody always says they have a hard time with this. If you let it soak, see how I already have it off pretty much? If you let it soak, it's really easy, and I'm going to show you. So I like to use one of these. Same thing like I used for the axle. It was easy to do my exhaust with it. It's easy to do this with it. All I do is put here and give it a little pry on both sides. That's how I got it to move so much. It already moved a lot. So it's about to come off. I can't do this with one hand, I'm noticing. But I'm going to go ahead and remove it. But your whole goal is to pry using the body or the car and push that way. And you can also get other angles, find another angle, push on it, but it'll go out that way. I already have most of it off, and that was just by pressing against this for leverage right there. Pressing against that metal bracket for leverage, slid it right off. So it's about to fall off, but I need 2 hands, so gotta put the camera down. Okay guys, I lied, I didn't even need to pry anymore. After I pried it the first time, all I had to do was use my hands and rotate it upward. Now it's out of the way, see? Out of the way. And look at that. See? Lube it and use a little pry bar with leverage against here. You can do that on your exhaust too to get it out. But use one of those forks. I've always found it easy. Other people have other methods. I use the fork. It's never let me down. Gets them off pretty quick. I didn't have to let it soak long either. You can tell it's not that wet. Just a little bit. Alright guys, once we got all those good, we got that off, we got everything done. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take off some clips, which are a back clip, because we got to take off the back of the exhaust. Now I like to do this. I don't think you always have to do this, but I do it. Another one on this side. These are just simple clips you pry out with the flathead. And then there's 10 millimeters. There's a 10 millimeter there, a 10 millimeter there, and then the opposite side is the exact same thing. 10 millimeter there, 10 millimeter there. And when I do that, that allows me to have tons of room to undo. Can you focus? There they go. Bam, see those bolts? 3 bolts. 1, 2, and there's some on this right there, 3. We undo those and your front pipe is coming out. So let's go ahead and get those undone. Okay, we undid those bolts back there, under here. Now, we can come back to the front pipe up front, pull it down. You'll notice it's already coming right out. So, I'm getting caught on something. Oh, you can't really see on the camera. Where's it at? Oh, there it goes. So we're going to bring it right out. Let's see right now. Okay, we got it out. You have to kind of turn it at an angle a little bit. So like this angle that I turned it a little bit because it gets caught on that heat shield. There's a heat, see that heat shield right in front of us? It gets caught a little bit on the heat shield when you pull it out. So give it a turn to where that point of the triangle, see how it's facing down? Turn it to where it's facing a little bit towards the left. So it'll clear. And we got it out. Now let's go look at that downpipe. Okay, like I said, we're going to get off that downpipe, but you got to remember you have your O2 sensor right there, which is a 7/8 wrench. Now you're going to be twisting it. You don't want to unpin the wires, so you want to come here, push this down. Okay. Now you'll see I already unclipped that purple bracket out of that hole right there. No, yeah, right there. All you need to do is get a flathead on the opposite side. Why can I zoom? Okay, when you're in that bracket, get a flathead and push right on there. Pushing on there, on the low clip. Push on it from the back. On the other side of that. And I came through, let me see. Oh, I just came, I think, where'd I come through? No, not there. Right on top. I think I just came right on top right here. Came right on top, pushed the clip down, pulled it right out, and now we have our O2 sensor unplugged. The reason you want it, because you're going to be twisting on it from the bottom, and you don't want to twist and unpin anything. So I went ahead and unplugged it, and we're going to untwist it from the bottom. Okay, we got the O2 sensor unplugged. Okay, I went in here with a 7/8 that's not overly tight. They don't tighten it really hard, so you don't have to overwork yourself. It's not tightened really hard. Just give it a good turn and it will come loose, and then you can twist. Like I said, I wanted to disconnect this cord right here. See, there's the cord. I wanted it out of the way. I wanted the cord out of the way. Why is this giving me a hard time? There we go. I wanted the cord out of the way so I could twist this freely. So now I can twist this freely without worrying if I'm messing up a pin or a connector. There we go. Off. See? Bam. Now the O2 is off. Heat shield drops straight down. There's our heat shield. Out of the way. Now all that's left is the 4 downpipe bolts, and we're gonna be in business, baby. Let's go do it. Okay, guys. So we went ahead and broke those loose. That's why we wait till the very end. We sprayed at the beginning, and we break those bolts loose at the end for the downpipe. Now I had to use 2 different extensions for this. Make sure that you're using I believe it's 3/8, right? Drive socket. Don't use the 1/2 inch, because the 1/2 inch, hold on, this is it right here. That's the depth you want. Where is my 1/2 inch? Here's my 1/2 inch. My 1/2 inch, that's the 14. For some reason, the curvature being wide over here rubs against the bulkiness of the downpipe. See that bubble right here? You can make contact here, but once you come further back, see there's a ridge right here that stops the bulkiness towards the end, and it'll block you. Okay, so I used a 3/8 because it's slimmer, went right in, and I used 14s. These are all 14s. All the bolts have been taken off are 14s. Okay, and I used an extension like this. So for 3 of the bolts, I used how long is this? A 10 inch. For 3 of the bolts, I used a 10 inch half drive. I have an adapter here. The reason I use the half drive is because my breaker bar is a half drive. So I have a little half drive adapter on a 3/8 socket. Okay. Then for the bolt way back there, the bottom right corner bolt. The bottom down there right corner. The reason I did not use the 10 inch long extension, because my main goal was to clear these hoses. So I was out here loosening everything out of the way of the hoses. Nothing was in my way. But once I tried to use it over here, the charge pipe was in the way, and I was not about to take that out. So that is where I brought in the 5 inch length extension. Perfect. The 5 inch length extension, I was actually able to put my breaker bar right here and break that nut down there, bottom right. It's hard to see right now, but it's down there. And my breaker bar, if you don't know what a breaker bar is, that is a breaker bar. Okay? You can also use a ratchet with a pipe on the end, etc. But that's my breaker bar. Okay? They came off really easy because I let them soak with PB Blast the whole time I did everything else. So, being that they soaked the whole time I did everything else, I've already broke them loose. I'm going to go ahead and remove those bolts, and then we'll talk about getting the downpipe down. Okay? So, we went ahead and took out the bolts. All of them are out. We dropped the downpipe underneath the car. You can see there's a turbo gasket right there. We're going to leave that alone. We don't want anything contaminating in there or getting in there. We put the downpipe down there, it came out. I did have to change something up though. That last bolt right there, you see that hole right down there on the bottom right? I did have to bring out another ratchet because I was getting caught between these two hoses. So I did bring out a shorter stubby one, 14 3/8, and got it out. Now let's bring out the new parts and get it all in. One, two, three, four. So we got the new downpipe. I went ahead and manually threaded in a little bit of the O2. Okay, and I'll finish tightening it in a little bit. If you have a defouler, put your defouler in first, then the O2, and that'll help eliminate your check engine lights. I have K-tuner, which I can turn it off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and plug it up, and then I'll flash the car with the secondary disabled. So there is the downpipe. We're going to tuck it up. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can tighten that a little bit because it's not too tight from factory. And go ahead and layer in. Alright, so now we can see the turbo right there. That's our exhaust side of the turbo. And we have our downpipe here. Why is my light going dim? There we go. We're going to go ahead and put our downpipe up there. I went ahead and connected my O2. I did tighten it already with it off the car. In this instance, it would be good to have a partner help you passing it up there. But luckily we have studs that will grab. So what I'm going to do is, I can't do it with holding with one hand, but I'm going to hook this on the two studs, and then I can go up top and tighten down. But first, I need to put the phone down because I need two hands. Okay, we went ahead and got the downpipe seated up here, nice and pretty with the PRL logo. We hooked it on the two studs like I said. Now we're going to go ahead and put the bolts in and start threading them into place and tighten them down. Now there are no torque specs that I could find, so I'm going to just tighten them down by hand and with a wrench as much as I can. I don't want to over torque and cause an issue. Okay guys, so I'm sorry I'm taking step by step, but I went ahead and got the bolts in. Okay, we're going to tighten them in a crisscross pattern. That means I'll probably start from the bottom right, which is the hardest one to get, then go to the top left, and then maybe the bottom left to the top right, in a crisscross pattern tightening. That bottom right, I would suggest when you reinsert that bolt, do it from the bottom. It's just easier to slide in. From the top, it gets a little wiggly and trying to get your hand in between here. A lot of us don't have small hands. I found it easier just to slip it in from the bottom and start threading it a little bit, and then, or even if you don't thread it in, you can start threading the other ones in, and then that one will line up no problem by hand. So I got all those in. I'm going to go ahead and tighten in a crisscross pattern, and then we'll go back to the bottom. Everything's buttoned up. I tightened everything by hand, a good amount. I'm going to double check for torque specs. I don't have them. I'm sure they're somewhere. But right now I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and clip back on the O2 sensor. So the O2 sensor's tight. This little button just pops right back in that square right there. There's a little plastic. You're going to pop it right back in that square and plug her back up. Then we'll go to the front pipe. Okay, we're back into the car. The front pipe went a lot easier into the tunnel this time for some reason. And now it lines up with the turbo just fine. We're going to line it up with the turbo here. But first, we're going to go ahead and attach that hanger back on the rubber grommet so this will be stable. Then we can go through and tighten everything and put gaskets as we need. Okay guys, we have the hanger back on right there. I put a little bit of lube on it, got it nice and sturdy. Front pipe's right here. It's going to connect right to the downpipe as soon as I pick it up. See? And we have 5 holes here. 1 for each bracket, so that's 2 brackets, and 3 for the exhaust. This is the downpipe to the front pipe exhaust portion. And we're going to come over here. And we have the kit that PRL gave us, which is going to give us a gasket for the front pipe to downpipe. 5 bolts right here that are going to be for the front pipe to downpipe connection, along with the brackets that hold the front pipe and downpipe. And these 3 will be for your exhaust system to front pipe. So we're going to go and put this on. So I went out and pulled out the hardware kit. And they give me 5 bolts, 5 nuts, but only 4 washers. I don't know why I got 4 washers, but I'm going to make sure that the washers are used on the actual downpipe to front pipe connection, not so much the bracket. I'm going to go ahead and put these in. They look like they should be, let's see if they're 14 millimeter or not. Let's see, what are they? They are 14s as well. So all these exhaust bolts we've been doing are all 14s. So these are 14s. The only ones that were 12s was the heat shield. So let's put them on. All right, guys. So we got the everything bolted up. So the curvature here, I had to face it a different way than the others. See, the 2, I had them going like that. I think one of them wouldn't let me come the other way. It's just a curvature. Then I have that one there. That one there, and then tighten them back to the transmission and motor. Okay. Then we come to the back. This was the hard part, getting all these on. Okay. That was the hard part. I would probably next time remove the whole tray, the bottom tray. I did not like it with just partial tray off. It was a little uncomfortable sometimes working, tightening everything. But we're all done. Now next I'm going to start the car. Oh, just so y'all know, the intake is back on. I didn't show that. Let me go show that real quick. The intake is back on the car. So I showed you the reconnect of the exhaust. All that's done. The intake is back on. I wiped any additional PB blast off from inside there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car and see if I have any exhaust leaks. So let's do that. The car is on. Significantly louder. Right now, I do not smell any exhaust leaks at all. I went under the car a little bit ago. Smelt none. So nope. Nice and fresh under here. Everything's been tightened up, bolted up. Should be good. I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit, then I'll double check. You know what? I should go ahead and shut it off because I need to put the under tray on. I don't want to burn myself. But everything's good, no exhaust leaks at all. So we should be good. Okay guys, so that's it. We wrapped it all up. We went ahead and buttoned everything up underneath just like we took it off. and we should be good to go. Next thing I got to do is just disable the secondary O2 and K-tuner. Good to go, guys. I did all this, but I'm going to have to take it all off in a few days when I do my clutch swap. At least the front pipe. Alright guys, take care. Hope you learned something. I went with it at the same time. I do suggest to remove the whole bottom tray. It just gets in the way when you're connecting it to the exhaust. It doesn't bother the removal process or anything like that. Just when you're trying to reconnect it to the exhaust, the way the bolts and washers are, just remove that whole bottom tray. It's easier. This is Area signing out. Peace.